Attention passionate Las Vegas Raiders fans, latest news, something big is happening in the AFC West and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Las Vegas Raiders' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Las Vegas Raiders fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and LAS Vegas Raiders FANS. Let's get to the news. Now, folks, the Las Vegas Raiders, after an incredibly tough 2024 season, finding themselves with a record of just 4-13, are already showing signs that they're not going to sit back and accept another rebuild. No, sir. The offseason has been anything but quiet for the Raiders. And while it's true they've lost some key players, this franchise has a history of resilience and strategic moves. The question on everyone's mind is, what's next? What moves are they planning to make to bounce back from a season that saw the team struggling on both sides of the ball? And trust me, there's a lot to unpack here because the Raiders are eyeing some significant upgrades, especially on defense, which was clearly a weak point last year. First, let's talk about the departures. The Raiders have said goodbye to some talented players through free agency, which, let's be honest, is part of the NFL game. Safety Trevon Moehrig signed with the Carolina Panthers on a 3-year deal worth $51 million. Moehrig showed flashes in his first couple of seasons, demonstrating a knack for making big plays in the secondary, but perhaps the Raiders felt they could find someone to fill that role better or wanted to free up cap space for other moves. Then there's cornerback Nate Hobbs, who took his talents to the Green Bay Packers on a 4-year, $48 million contract. Hobbs was a key part of the Raiders' secondary, especially in coverage, and his loss leaves a noticeable gap. And let's not forget linebacker Robert Spillane, who signed with the New England Patriots for 3 years at $33 million. Spillane was a reliable presence on the field, a guy who played with intensity and brought leadership, so losing him also stings. But here's the thing, in the NFL, offseason moves are just the beginning. The Raiders have a lot of flexibility and, most importantly, a lot of time to make some game-changing additions. And that's where the latest buzz comes in. According to CBS Sports, NFL insider Cody Benjamin suggests that the Raiders might be actively trying to orchestrate a blockbuster trade with the Miami Dolphins for none other than cornerback Jalen Ramsey. Now, Ramsey, for those who don't follow every detail of NFL cornerbacks, is a player with a Hall of Fame caliber resume. He's been one of the league's most dominant corners for nearly a decade, a player who can lock down receivers and make plays on the ball. Ramsey's situation is quite interesting because, as many of you know, Miami has been open about their intention to move on from him. Their general manager, Chris Grier, confirmed that the team was exploring options, which makes Ramsey a prime target for teams looking to bolster their secondary. For the Raiders, acquiring Ramsey would be a game changer. Last year, their pass defense ranked 15th in the league, allowing an average of 333. 1 yards per game, not terrible, but certainly not enough to contend for a deep playoff run. They also tied for 25th in points allowed, giving up an average of 25. 5 points per game. Those numbers need to improve if the Raiders want to turn things around. Now let's talk about Ramsey himself. He's a player with a proven track record with 7 Pro Bowl selections and 3 first-team All-Pro honors in his 9-year career. He's been a shutdown corner, capable of shadowing the opponent's best receiver and making game-altering plays. In 2024, he was targeted 71 times, which shows he was still a focal point in the Dolphins' secondary. He allowed 44 receptions for 462 yards, 3 touchdowns, and an 83-2 passer rating against pretty solid numbers considering the volume of targets. And he had 2 interceptions, proving his playmaking ability. So why would the Raiders want to make this move? Well, strengthening the secondary is a top priority. They need a player like Ramsey to help lock down the league's top receivers, and with his experience and talent, he can bring a leadership presence that the defense desperately needs. But of course, acquiring Ramsey isn't just about the player himself. It's also about the contract. He's currently under a 3-year, $72 million extension that runs through 2028. So for the Raiders to get him, they might have to be willing to take on that hefty price tag, which is not a small investment. They would need to weigh whether Ramsey's talent and leadership are worth the cost, especially considering their salary cap situation and the other needs on their roster. Looking at the bigger picture, this potential move signals that the Raiders are serious about reshaping their roster. They're not just looking for quick fixes, they're aiming to build a defense that can compete with the best in the league. And that, in turn, could have a ripple effect across the AFC West. The division has been highly competitive in recent years, with the Kansas City Chiefs dominating, but the Chargers and Broncos have also been making moves to improve. If the Raiders land Ramsey or another elite defender, they could shift the balance of power and make the AFC West even more fierce. Of course, it's not just about defense. The Raiders have a lot to address on offense as well. They need better protection for their quarterback, more consistency from their receivers, and a solid running game to take some pressure off their passing attack. Derek Carr, who was the starting quarterback last season, has moved on, and the team is now exploring options at the position, including rookie prospects and veteran free agents. The coaching staff, led by head coach Josh McDaniels, is known for its offensive ingenuity, but the pieces need to come together. And speaking of the roster, there's also a lot of hope for the young players who are developing. Players like Max Crosby, who's emerged as one of the league's top pass rushers, and Hunter Renfrow, a reliable target in the slot, offer some optimism. But to take that next step, the Raiders need to solidify their defense and add that star power that can change games, and Ramsey could be just that. Now, let's not forget the draft. The Raiders have several picks to work with, and they'll likely use some of those to add depth along the defensive line, linebacker core, and secondary. They also need to find a quarterback who can lead them into the future, whether that's a seasoned veteran or a promising rookie. All these pieces are interconnected, and the offseason is when teams like the Raiders can really shape their destiny. In terms of expectations, fans are hungry for a return to the playoffs, and not just that, they want to see their team contend for a Super Bowl. That's a tall order, especially after a season like 2024, but if the Raiders make smart moves, including potentially landing Ramsey, they could set themselves up for a much improved 2025. The AFC West is a gauntlet, no doubt about it, but with the right talent and strategic moves, the Raiders can reestablish themselves as a force. So what do you think about all this? Are you excited about the possibility of Ramsey donning the Raiders' colors? Do you believe they'll make other splash moves before the season starts? The NFL offseason is always full of surprises, and the Raiders are clearly in the thick of it. They're building something, and whether it's through trades, signings, or the draft, they're aiming to come back stronger. Keep an eye on this team because the next few months could be pivotal in shaping their future. And remember, this is just the beginning. The NFL offseason is a roller coaster, and the Raiders are definitely on the ride. Every move they make will have ripple effects across the league. So stay tuned, stay engaged, and don't forget to subscribe for all the latest updates. I'll be right here with you breaking down every move, every rumor, and every big story that comes out of Las Vegas, because at the end of the day, we're all in this together, fans who love this team and want to see them succeed. The future is bright and the Raiders are aiming high. Let's see how it all unfolds. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Las Vegas Raiders news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And finally, folks, I want to hear from you. What's your take on the Raiders offseason so far? Are you optimistic about their chances next year? Do you think they should push even harder for a player like Ramsey, or maybe focus on other positions of need? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because your opinion really matters to us and to the future direction of this team. We're all part of the Raiders family and your voice is important. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, rumors, and detailed analysis, so stay tuned for the latest Las Vegas Raiders news. This team has a new chapter ahead, and I can't wait to see how it all unfolds with you by my side. Thanks for watching, and go Raiders!